Hello everyone, MeanSpeed here with another Renegade Line video. So yeah, it's been a while, but just know that when the Renegade Line news is dead, then the channel is somewhat dead, apart from, BFH uploads, but as some of you know, I want to upload those sparingly and over time. But yeah, this is going to be another one of those speculation or suggestion type videos like I did with the seasonal events video, since there hasn't been much news at all, like I just said, really, to talk about. Since I last made a video, basically there was an image of the Wicked customization, such as hair color and styles and such, but that's all really, and that's pretty much just the Wicked counterpart to the other one we saw for the Residents, which wasn't that long ago as well. And yeah, that's not really much for a whole video, so I will cover that another time when there's more to go with it. But yeah, that specific piece of news, it was the latest news we got, and it was posted 2 weeks ago, so I can assume that Raw Vengeance have already started their summer breaks, and they aren't really up to showing much. They're busy with the game, or they're busy with a Q&A, which, to be honest, I think is the most likely option, since the Q&A has been available for a while now. I think to be honest, they're starting to think about, or they are starting on answering the questions, but I could be wrong. So on to the point of the video now, as if it wasn't obvious enough. Renegade Line on Steam. Now, this has been a huge topic on the forums ever since they were first released. The question still crops up from time to time. I mean, people are asking if the game will come to Steam. Now, the point of this video isn't to answer that question, because I have the answer on your screen right now, but it's actually for me to go over the positives and negatives, the pros and cons, to having the game on Steam. And I'd like to say that this awesome template of what the game's store page on Steam could look like was actually made by my brother, and I think it's really good. So I'll start with the positives. Oh, by the way, ignore the release date part. Yeah, that's yeah, whatever. So yeah, the positives. Now, I do want to say that not all of these positives and negatives were ones I thought of. Some of these are my points made, that I made, but some of these are also ones that the community, other members of the community, have done on the threads and stuff on the forums, and I'm including them because they're pretty decent. So yeah, the positives to having Renegade Line on Steam are the game will have a much larger fan base and will become more well known. So yeah, the game will be on a list of free-to-play games on Steam, which, as you all know, is a huge service with millions of people logging on each day. Now, the game will not only be classed as a free-to-play game, which always gets attention as people just seem to prefer to not pay for games. That's how it really works. But Renegade Line will also be classed as a third-person shooter, which is a very scarce area on Steam, with hardly any pages of games in comparison to free-to-play ones. And that's not to say that third-person shooters are for a niche market. It just so happens that not many good third-person shooters are available on Steam, or not many have been accepted for Steam through Greenlight and such. But all in all, the game will be recognized a lot more just by being on Steam and by having, those two tags or attributes attached to it. Raw Vengeance will get more income, so more players means a higher chance for making money and getting paying customers, and especially with the Steam market being a thing, I think some of the weapon skins and clothing in Renegade Line could be compatible with or available through that service, which a lot of people seem to be keen on, spending money on and getting involved in, such as, well, I mean, that's evidenced by games such as Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The game would be more mod friendly. So the Steam Workshop allows many games to have awesome community-made mods, such as maps, cosmetics, and Steam really does allow for awesome games to be made even more awesome thanks to the workshop, such as Killing Floor 2, for example. The workshop as a whole can also take some of the workload off of the developers, since it's a really well-made community map or weapon skin could be put into the game while the developers focus on other important things such as game balance, new mechanics, new classes, stuff like that. And I think that would be beneficial, especially for Raw Vengeance, since they're actually a fairly small company, so a share of the workload, or having some of it being covered by the community's awesome creativity, would save a lot of time and money for Raw Vengeance, and I think that's a good thing. the game will still be accessible on the site and Steam, and accounts can be linked together. So games such as Warframe and APB Reloaded, I think I said that right, can be launched from Steam, but also from their respective websites, and it works. And I think those two games are evidence enough of that, as their forums and websites are still active, and even though there are Steam forums for each game on Steam, the original forums aren't overlooked or ignored in any way. The game can have Steam features added to it. Now, this one isn't really a huge deal compared to the others. It's just something that I thought I'd add on just as a bit of extra stuff. But basically, Renegade Line could have trading card support, so you could craft Renegade Line themed badges with, I don't know, them being the logo of the game in different colors or something like that. You could have Renegade Line chat emotes and also profile backgrounds to use to show further support for the game and just to show people excuse me, that you enjoy it. There could also be achievements, screenshot sharing, and of course the Steam overlay in general, in my opinion, is a nice addition to a game. Alright, so moving on to the negatives now. So yeah, the negatives to having Renegade Line on Steam are the game won't feel as exclusive, special, or individual. Basically, the game will just be branded as another one of those games that's supported by Steam, and as such it won't be unique in that it won't be a part of that scene that has its own launcher and website, and that's quite individual, much like BFH was. There is a chance Raw Vengeance might end up losing money rather than making it, as well there are commission fees tied to having a game on Steam, which obviously add on to all the other things Raw Vengeance have to put their money into, so it's more costly for them, especially if not enough people are buying into the cosmetics, the weapon skins, and the server licenses. The community would be a lot more varied. Right now we have a community based on ex-BFH players and fans who understand the third-person shooter genre and will recognise the game for being inspired by BFH. But as more and more people become interested due to the addition of Steam, you have a higher chance of a less calm and sort of chilled community, and really a higher chance of people who will just, influence bad behaviour, and that'll be negative no matter what. There are other ways to go about advertising a game instead of just dumping it onto Steam. Some would argue that advertising on other sites through videos, pictures, social media, and more can, be just as beneficial. So yeah, that's about it for both sides really. I think Renegade Line and Steam is definitely a huge and debatable topic, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I personally think there's some truth to both the positives and negatives, but I'll let you make your own minds upon this. And obviously, of course, if you have anything else that you want to add, or you just want to put something on here just to give your take on it, feel free to put a comment down below or reply to one of the many threads on the forums about Steam, because obviously, like I said, a lot of people have covered it, so there are various different places you can go to speak your mind. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.